right
got
on,
one
I live
more,
on
I'm
3rd
sorry.
Street, right next to the preschool, and people come flying 15-mile-an-hour section. And his comment to me was, yeah, we're really busy, and we get through here when we can, and we're just really busy. And it was like, I know you're really busy. Wrong thing to say. I mean, just say, I'm on it, I'll keep my eyes on it. It just seemed, what I don't want to, I guess the part that bothered me is it was kind of like, I'm almost too busy to be here. And that it got me a little off. I literally walked my life and go, you want to hear what that guy just said to me? And it just put me off. That's all. You might want to just let them know that, especially when I walk out in the street to greet. I guess I would have just expected a slightly different response. When I'm walking around, and I saw one of your deputies on Saturday had a guy pulled over, and as he's waiting for his radio call to come in, hey, I appreciate you being here. He looked back, hey, we appreciate you saying that. So it just seemed like I had a concern, and it was like, yeah, I know, but we're busy. That was all.
Hey, thank you. I'm sorry, I just had one more on that. The semis. We got him coming through Saturday night, right down 3rd Street. He was actually tooting his horn.
What about the one this morning?
Okay, one this morning, and we also had one last night. So we're starting to see an increase of semi coming through town. It was just driving through, and I don't know if we could put a bar up about 8 feet, so regular traffic can go under it, and maybe the semis might catch it.
I'll let the city manager. He was in. What time did you get in here this morning? 5:30.
Yeah, there was a jackknife rig down there on 1st Street this morning.
Rich Brown was down here, wasn't he? Was Rich Brown?
Yeah. Well, Brown was in, but Dave Zander was in there too.
Yeah.
We issued a citation, and he had to fill it out.
Poor guy.
But unfortunately, the only way you're going to break that, because I went and talked to the dispatcher out at Earthbound, Trueleaf, and these truck drivers, the GPS routes them through San Juan. And the only way you're going to break that is to start ticketing them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And when they start getting fines, then they'll stop.
And then hopefully they'll go back and start telling their buddies not to be driving through. Yeah, I'll let them know.
Was he trying to turn around this morning?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Do we have a sign coming into town?
Yes.
We have them at all the entrances.
At every entrance we put signs up, no trucks over 10 ton.
Okay, go ahead.
Just one more comment. I actually thought when I saw your hours were less than the contract requires, I actually thought, well, gee, they probably have more hours than our contract requires in July. Maybe it's just because it's January. I didn't realize that you were as severely understaffed as you are right now. So
we're trying to do the best we can. We want to hire.
So you try to do year-round about the same number of hours, not say we have more problems in the summer than the winter.
Right. Yeah, we want to be consistent.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let's see here. Public Works Report. Roger?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, just to kind of give you a brief overview, Joe and the crew's been working. They've had a water leak, and then in preparatory of the rainy season, I've had them out cleaning up some of the ditches that are potentially always causing us problems, but we haven't had any rain to facilitate that effort and everything. But the maintenance crews have completed the reclaimed water project, and they've got that all patched and ready to go. And so one of the big issues with our Public Works Department is our backhoe went down with a transmission, and it cost us, I think it was about $4,500 to get it repaired. The backhoe is a smaller Kubota type, and it's really not equipped to do big major jobs, and it's used as things. We had to rent a larger backhoe to do some maintenance at the wastewater treatment plant, and for a leaky pipe that was down there about 17 feet, and so we had to get an extender hose to go down there. And so we got by and everything, but and it's later on in the agenda, I'll be kind of bringing up the council on a lease purchase option. That'll give us a little bit of flexibility to maybe purchase some equipment over a long period of time. We can address that. But by and large, they're getting by, and I just wanted to, I met with Joe, and we kind of identified several projects that are in the staff report that he's going to be committed to over the next month or so. And if you have any questions, let me know. They're going to be out doing some paving and patching, and then we're going to do some maintenance on the wharf heads throughout the town, and then kind of organize the equipment yard there. Any questions?
Hey, Roger. Any questions from council?
I also saw them out cleaning up sidewalks, which was nice to see,
Yeah.
too. They're
Okay.
doing a good job.
Any public comment?
No, on the
Okay.
next item, I have a public comment.
Okay. And then code enforcement. Matt?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Property at 61 McCallme, which is at the gateway to San Juan Bautista. We sent out a letter to the owner letting him know that the weeds were overgrown and that there was rubbish throughout the site. The owner almost immediately cleaned up the property, and the city is very thankful that they addressed our concerns and cleaned it so quickly. Addressing concerns that we've heard about chickens. We've heard several complaints and concerns from residents around town regarding overpopulation, destruction of property, and health and safety. The city is taking action by setting out traps to capture the chickens. In the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, Chapter 2-7, the city has ability to issue administrative citations from $50 to $500 to residents violating this code. And Roger will speak about that.
Yeah, originally, Matt and I were looking at ways that we could get a little bit more aggressive on the enforcement, and we found that in Chapter 2.7, that the city does have at its fingertips administrative fine procedures, and the book is here, and Matt and I are going to start implementing it. And I'll just give you an idea. Dangerous buildings, substandard housing, RV violations, inoperable vehicles, graffiti, illegal animals, rubbish, zoning, illegal structures without permits, accessory buildings, and then others. And so we've got a multitude of avenues that Matt and I can start going and citing things. One of the items that we are looking at is to advise where we find there are people feeding chickens, is to serve them a letter, and then if they don't abate that problem, then we're going to go in and issue them a administrative fine. The first fine is $50. Second fine is $100. Third fine goes up substantially, up to $500.
Any questions?
Are the amounts written into the code?
Yes.
Roger, on this code violation, Pearson, the Alameda, that SUV, and I've been here for the last couple of years, and that, we need to move on that. That's all blocks over there.
We've prepared the letter, and it's going to go out tomorrow to the property owner.
Yeah, it's just it's an eyesight.
Yeah,
and
and we've identified 4 areas in the city that there are substantial chickens around, and we're concentrating in those areas. And in one place right next to our city hall here, there was a rooster that attacked a small child, and there was substantial damage done to the child's face. And we were able to trap that rooster and get him out. We put him in the pen, and then we've transported him out of the city.
What's the person gets the fine? What leverage do we have that makes them pay?
Oh, they're in municipal code. Failure to find that is we can cite them into court. We can put a lien on their property, there's administrative avenues there. They have the right to appeal and come in front, to object to the fine, and then if you uphold that fine, then there's certain administrative channels that we can go through to recapture that fine.
Any other questions or speaker cards?
I have a speaker card from Eric Renfro again.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, what Roger just described was kind of what I was going to address, is there has to be a way for some of these items. I mean, the chicken one isn't the big issue in my end of town, but I know in other ends of towns it's huge. Blocked sidewalks for walking. I walk my dogs a lot. I try to stay on the sidewalks, and oftentimes where there is a sidewalk, it's overgrown bushes and whatnot. So it sounds like they've already addressed it.
Okay. I'll bring it back. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, I'm moving on. City Planner's report. Roger and Matt.
Go ahead, Matt. Yeah.
So we just wanted to update you on some of the activities that are going on within the city. We received a formal site and design review submittal for an ARCO station. This ARCO station is placed at the intersection of 156 and the Alameda on the south and west side corner, just adjacent to the San Juan Inn.
Southeast.
Southeast?
Excuse me.
I think so. Yeah, so it's right next to the San Juan Inn, and that it was brought up to the Planning Commission earlier this month, and that we're going to be having a special meeting later this week, which will take place here at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, which is open to the public. And again, it's a special meeting just to kind of address some of the current concerns and ideas that came up to basically come up with a better project and address concerns that were heard by both the public and the Planning Commission. Roger, I don't know if you'd like to add anything else?
No, that's fine, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the next item that I think Matt indicated in his staff report was at the issue is the Formula Business Ordinance 2007-04, which prohibits franchise or formula-type businesses, and then the ARCO station would be classified that, as well as the AM/PM convenience store or a Safeway or a McDonald's or anything like that. And so we've had several staff reports to the Planning Commission over the last year asking that we should, because it's anti-business, we kind of rescind it and replace it with a ordinance that's more friendly, more pro-business, yet still retain a very strict site and architectural review of the thing so that it can be assimilated into our San Juan character. So that's kind of where we're at, and the Planning Commission will be discussing that.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
Should we continue, or do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish then.
Okay.
Okay. We had two minor subdivisions that were passed by the Planning Commission. One of the properties is at 1149 Old San Juan Highway, consisting of 30.62 acres that were in the city and 59 acres that were in the county. That parcel was basically completely in the county, but that we wanted to section it off at the city limits to make them two separate parcels. The other property was at 804 First Street, and that was a larger parcel that was, I think, 33,000 square feet or so.
Yeah.
So it was a larger parcel which could accommodate two single-family houses, and those lots were split to create that. A general plan update. Sent out emails to all you and the City Planning Commission, as well as our General Plan Advisory Committee, that Cal Poly has the background reports for the general plan. They're available online. You can't view them online. You can stop by the office and we can accommodate you to view them. We're looking to get feedback by January 27th, and that upcoming community meeting is February 12th, and it'll be held at the Community Center on San Jose Street, and that will be held at 6 p.m. Also, we wanted to let you guys know that staff sent out notices in the water bills, basically letting everyone that receives water in the city that we have this community meeting, just so they can know the date and attend. But if they can't attend, there was a survey attached with that they can send back with their bill or drop it by the office, and that was also in both English and Spanish.
Okay.
So we got more, Andy, or Mr. Mayor. So next item is housing element, cycle 4. We sent our final draft over to HCD back in October, and we got word that we were in compliance, and so that's great. So the steps to be in compliance fully with HCD is you're going to get the cycle 4 draft approved by the city, and then we'll send it back to HCD. But before we have our cycle 5, which is being updated right now by Cal Poly, be implemented and adopted, there's a few items that need to be implemented from cycle 4, and so we will go through and work through those with the Planning Commission and let you guys know when they come up. And yeah, so that's where we're at with the housing element. And then one of the last items are fees and forms. Roger and I have been working to kind of streamline and organize all the planning and building forms that the city currently has. The forms needed to be updated and kind of provide a more clear and concise information for the user. And so we've kind of gone and adjusted some of the fees accordingly, and that in some cases the information wasn't even there. There wasn't a form, and so we've gone ahead and created some of those forms to meet the needs of the city.
This became apparent to us when we were developing and we're in the final stages of our tax sharing agreement, which will then set the stage that we can now annex property. And when I got looking at the applications for annexation, we had none. And so we developed a lot of new forms that reflected, we met with Bob Breckman from LAFCO, and he helped us guide us through his procedures. And so you can see a lot of this stuff is in preparatory. The pre-zoning and the rezoning and the urban growth boundaries and annexation fits into that mode where we want to bring them all in consistent. We will be bringing these forms to the Planning Commission, get them to approve and to make a recommendation, and then we'll bring them back to the City Council, and then
Bring it back.
I have one question. On the Christopher property, could that involve adding anything to the city?
yeah, the part of the large lot split for the Bill and Don Christopher parcel was to split off the 30 acres that's inside the current city limits, and that'll be a separate parcel. The balance, 59 acres, will be in the county.
Oh, well, it was all one piece before.
It was all one piece, yes.
We couldn't get it all.
Well, we can't get it all until we can annex.
Yeah. Right now, the 36 acres, or the 30.62 acres is already in the city. You just split the lot. I just had a quick question on the Valero. Did that have to go through some special process? Because you said the Arco station would. Valero's got a little store, and it's also a big box.
Oh, this was one of the parts of the ordinance that we didn't realize, is that when the ordinance was adopted back in 2007, we had franchise and formula businesses into the city, and I guess they were just grandfathered in. And that was, the Valero was one, the Seminole Bank was another, so.
Pizza factory.
Pizza factory.
Oh, has it been Valero that, because it was Union before,
Union before, yeah. Mhm,
but
yeah.
it was grandfathered in because it
Yeah.
is a gas station. Okay. Okay, that's all.
And the bank's changed hands a couple times
Yeah.
too.
And we certainly don't want to get the reputation that we want to convert San Juan Bautista into a mall city. We're very selective, but we want to be able to establish a positive attitude for growth and investment and still maintain our San Juan character. That's important.
As soon as the planning commission gets done with that, it'll come to us.
Yes.
Okay. Speaker cards? Any?
Sorry, no, I have
No?
none.
None, okay. Other questions? Okay, Roger?
The city manager's report, yes, I just wanted to kind of touch base on the water conservation, and you'll be looking at a resolution later on. It's very critical. Governor Brown has declared a drought condition in California. I think it's imperative. Seminole County Water District's talking about it, Hollister, Sunny Slope Water. It's imperative that we encourage people to conserve water and utilize a lot of just good practical knowledge so that we don't waste water till we can get over this condition that's we haven't seen in a number of years. The use of the San Juan School Well, where I received a copy of the agreement for the use, and they're going to review it tomorrow night for their board meeting, and shortly after that I'll have it back to you for reconsideration, and then we can go forward on this. This is we've had the well tested again to make sure that it complies, and we're dealing with the California Department of Public Health, Water Public Health Agency in Monterey to make sure that it complies with their standards before we would commit any funds to bring it online and connect to our water distribution system. Ordinance 207-04, we've talked about that, and again that'll be coming back to the Planning Commission, and we'll be discussing that and paving the way for whether they would allow the ARCO station, and that's going to be coming in front of them. They'll be discussing it this Thursday, 23rd at 9 p.m., and then it's scheduled for February the 4th at the Planning Commission.
Any questions from the council? Joey? Tony?
When we have the meeting for the ARCO, on that, will any of the Caltrans or anything be there? Because it's kind of...
Yes, and that was why Matt and I went last Wednesday down to San Luis Obispo to meet with Caltrans to talk about how it was going to be interfaced with their program that they outlined tonight, as well as future acceleration, deceleration lanes and restriping so that it would be more friendly to get in and out of the Alameda and service the station. We've also looked at channelization and striping to get in and out of the ARCO service station so that it's not going to create a traffic congestion on the Alameda in that first 280 to 300 feet.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions or speaker cards? Okay. Okay. Thank you, staff. Moving on, number 3K, public meeting and committee reports. Jolene?
AMBAG newsletter highlights. City of Watsonville is considering taking over the section of 152 in the center of town that will allow traffic and pedestrian modifications that will encourage traffic to slow down and allow visitors to admire the historic nature of the community and provide an incentive for property owners to create new shopping opportunities. that sounded like something we ought to do with 156. That's why I mention it. But 152 actually does run right through the middle of Watsonville, so it's a little bit different. But I imagine it's expensive to take over a section of a Caltrans highway. But they're considering it. Also, the City of Monterey has adopted the HERO program to provide homeowners an opportunity for financing options to implement energy efficiency, solar, and water conservation measures. That came up at the Green City talk. I'd also like to note that AMBAG provides the Clearinghouse monthly newsletter to all interested parties within the counties of Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito, which gives advance notification of proposed projects within the region. And I just mentioned that because I thought the city of San Juan Bautista may want to consider putting any of our new projects into that Clearinghouse newsletter. I'm not exactly sure what the process is, but it seems like something like the ARCO might actually affect the region, not just us locally. Neighborhood Watch would like to make a short presentation to the council in February or March for the council's February or March meeting. Several people thought that it would be important to actually have Neighborhood Watch come and give us a short presentation. Captain Tony LaMonica will be our guest speaker for February 17th meeting. Love to see you all there. One of the things we discussed, there was a lot of discussion, but one of the things was a need for a stop sign on 3rd Street at either Polk or Washington. And I think that's something that's come up before. I know Roger and I have discussed it, and I'm not sure if it's ever been discussed at the council, but there's a long stretch of 3rd Street with no stop signs. And I think either 3rd or Washington could really use one.
Okay. Tony?
Just our meeting for intergovernment on that one. Our fire meeting was canceled. We had that postponed. Intergovernment pretty much went over. Homeless issue was still another strong, where they're trying to find a place for day use that would occupy with showers and assisted help. And pretty much everything else was standard through the reports in the intergovernment. There has been some citizens come to me about concerns about a stop sign actually at 3rd in Monterey. That sometimes it's a little bit confusing for some of the people turning left, stopping, and going through the stop signs there. Just
there is one there, right?
No, it's at 4th in Monterey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Stop sign on 3rd when you get to Monterey, but not on
Yeah, but nothing from Monterey southbound on that. A couple of the residents that live on the corners there have expressed their concern with that. Other than that, that's all I have right now.
I haven't had any LAFCO meetings. However, we don't usually meet in November and December. We are going to meet Thursday of this week. It just so happens that the 3rd Tuesday of this month and the 4th Thursday fall in the same week this month.
Okay, just to reiterate what Councilman Lund said, we did have a intergovernment meeting on the 9th of January, and on the agenda was just fire protection, which was canceled, library partnership opportunities, homeless in the San Benito County, the new courthouse security staffing, the TOT tax maybe that the county wants to kick up to where we're at, and a tourism tax. And then in that afternoon, had a water resource meeting, and basically the big number one concern was drought contingency plans, and basically for anybody that's interested or needs their plumbing, or they may have a possible leak, they can contact the water district in Hollister, and they'll come out for free of charge if they think they have a leak. The toilets are running, and that was it for me.
Go,
Go, sir. Yes, sir.
Involving LAFCO. I keep getting these communications from LAFCO for the cemetery district, and my people up there don't want to have anything to do with it.
You want to?
I don't understand why all of a sudden I start getting on.
It's because we have a new executive director. And
Well,
he's following the
yeah.
rules.
I'll correspond with Bob Breckman and then have you guys take off the list because it's automatic. You know.
Any district. That's what it's called.
Yeah, the water districts.
Any taxing district will get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to item.
Tony, just
consent agenda.
recycle it.
Nothing on COG to
No,
report.
I didn't talk about San Juan at all. It's Anthony and I against the rest of us.
Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. Need a motion and.
I'll make a
second.
motion.
Second. Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? I know I'm gonna. Do you want a roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
Just before you vote, let me just make a very short statement.
Okay.
The new provision of the Brown Act provides that, and it's very vague, and I think it's pretty much what everybody's doing in any event, but in order to do a strong appearance of compliance, Lynn and I have spoken about this. The local agency or city here has to publicly report any action taken. So if you can fairly clearly cite your motion, for instance, on this consent agenda, move approval of the consent agenda, which appears at item 4 on tonight's agenda, for example. And then there will be a roll call vote, and Linda will announce that all members of the council being present, it passed unanimously. And that'll do it.
Okay, so I guess.
But basically, it's roll call votes, and she will, for the record, indicate who.
That was for consent agenda number 4. I'd like to make a motion for consent agenda number 4.
Okay, I'm sorry.
A motion was made by Vice Mayor Lund and seconded by Councilmember Edge to approve the consent agenda. And I'll just ask for your individual votes.
You know,
Did you want to say
yeah, I think Council.
Yeah, at AMBAG, we raise our hands as we're saying aye or nay or whatever.
Okay.
It makes it easier. We're a large board. I don't know if that would be helpful here or not, but that was the way that they took the instructions on this new thing. Was that?
Let's give it a shot here.
Everyone has a different opinion about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilmember Lund,
Yes.
your vote, please, is yes.
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Edge,
Yes.
Councilmember Bach,
Yes.
Councilmember Cosio.
Aye.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the mayor passes unanimously.
Well, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna 5A. Is everybody content, or does anybody want to switch? Rick, are you
I'm
content?
fine. Yeah, I'm
Robert.
fine.
With
What committees you're on, so we can just expedite this? Do you want to
I
try
don't know.
something else? Do you
Is
want
Monterey Bay open? Is that one?
Monterey Bay?
No.
That's Hollister. That's
Hollister.
Hollister. So that's not
For 2 years,
yeah,
I
for
think.
2 years.
Is how it runs. Isn't that right, Roger or Trish?
Oh, I didn't even see that.
The air board is 2 years before it comes back to
I didn't know
San
if
Juan.
it was coming back to us this year or no.
Yeah.
It was one
No.
more.
At least one more.
Tony, are you content?
Yes, go ahead.
Councilman Cogan, you're
Sure.
you good?
I'm good.
So I guess it's an action item. So I need a. Oh, sorry.
Question. Do we still need some of these, like the ad hoc committee for parking, outside services? Do we still need those? You want to keep them in place? or-
Let's keep them in place.
Okay.
And then if they call you when. Hey, Tony, remember?
There's a parking problem.
Yeah, the parking problem. You're on the committee. So do I need a motion to approve this on a second?
Motion to approve?
To approve the committee
Yeah.
slate.
To approve the committee
As
slate?
presented.
Okay. I
Yeah,
have
motion to approve the
okay,
committee
a second.
slate.
Second.
Okay, and a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Lund,
Yes.
Councilmember Edge,
Aye.
Councilmember Bach,
Here. Yes.
Councilmember Lucio,
Aye.
and Mayor Moore.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay. We're moving on. 5B, consideration approval of tax sharing agreement and resolution 2014. And you can give me the number now or later. Or
2014-01 if it is passed.
okay. And
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the
You're up.
council, I'm pleased to announce that after going through several additions, we have a master tax sharing agreement with the county, and I would recommend approval. It highlights key issues is that we're going to share in the property tax increment transfer at 4.49%. We are committed to developing an impact fee for juvenile jail, and then we will develop and work with the county to develop and address some regional housing needs for the county. And the agreement is probably good for until either party decides that they want to amend it.
The motion will be moving, if there is a motion, be moving the approval of the revised edition with the yellow highlighting that you have for each.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there were the city attorney made some suggestions. We've modified it, and we have it, and I outlined it in yellow there, the additions, and so I would make the recommendation that we approve the modified resolution 214-01.
okay. I'll start with Councilman Rosen. Do you have any questions? Councilman Bach?
First of all, I think you should know that Roger's been working on this for a year and a half. And I've always felt that we need this in place before we can do any annexation to the city. There's been some people didn't agree with that, but and we, the city of San Juan, we had to give up some stuff, but overall, Roger and I went over the numbers. It makes economic sense for us to enter into this agreement, and hopefully the county will go along with it, because one of the sticking points was there's a $9,500 impact fee when, in other words, if you bring piece of property into the city, and let's say it can be divided into 4 lots or whatever, each one of those lots would have to pay to the county $9,500 as an impact fee. Roger managed to massage the numbers so that Joe, Paul, and Ray both agreed that it was an advantage to both of us to do it this way and eliminate that $9,500 part-time.
It's more revenue neutral to the county in our formulas and stuff like that without going to the impact fee and stuff like that.
So, I think
And the other emphasis that I'd like to encourage is that we have 2 or 3 pieces of property that are in the county that we're paying taxes on now. And one is our reservoir, and the other is our well number 3 site. And we pay taxes to that because it's not in the city. By bringing them into the city, then we will eliminate that tax bill. The other fine point is that when we get ready to initiate construction on the pellet plant, well 3, if it's not in the city, then we have to apply to the county for a building permit. And
They get the money.
so there's a lot of little things that are involved there. I'd like to get our reservoir, our new $1.2 million reservoir in the city, I'd like to get the well number 3 annexed. I'd like to eliminate the confusion of Elaine Reyna and Sonny Reyna's house. Half of it's in the county and half of it's in the city. And I would like to bring in 1/3 of the cemetery into the city. That's half of it's in the 1/3 of it's in the county and 2/3 in the city. So those are the little issues that I'd like to kind of clean up our boundary with.
And that's not even including the
Potential
properties,
other,
yeah, that
potential,
have
yeah.
no buildings on them that are in
Exactly.
now.
Anything on that?
Robert?
No, I'm good. That's,
Question on this. So this hasn't been agreed upon by the Board of Supervisors yet?
No.
And they don't know all of the provisions yet?
They have been brought up to speed on it, through Joe Paul and Ray, and so they'll be presenting it, and then when it goes to their board of there, I'll be there to answer any questions,
so
And
those,
Anthony did say he's in full support of this.
Oh, good.
That's one. I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2014-1, the joint resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista and the Board of Supervisors of the County of San Benito, providing for a negotiated exchange of property tax revenues for annexations to the City of San Juan Bautista. And do I need to make a comment that it has not been yet accepted, or as it's accepted by the supervisors?
You are moving to approve your share of,
Okay.
of the agreement. I mean, it's a dual resolution. It's kind of an awkward document, but you are approving your
Okay.
part.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, second by Councilman Bach. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Bach,
Aye.
Councilmember Edge,
Aye.
Councilmember Cosio,
Aye.
Councilmember Lund,
yes.
Mayor Moore.
Aye.
All members of council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
The only one thing on here is the city and the county may terminate this agreement. Shall be final within 60 calendar days.
Item
Right,
5C,
there's no guarantee that the board,
approval of resolution 2014 supporting the water conservation.
O2.
O2, okay.
long time.
Roger?
Excuse me.
Resolution.
Yeah, and just to follow up to the water conservation issue, which I think is real critical to San Juan, particularly when we're down to only operating off of one well. I created and a follow-up with what Governor Brown has done, as well as the County of San Benito, as well as the other 2 cities of our county are going to be doing shortly. And this is a water conservation, declaring a water shortage condition and implementing a water conservation contingency plan for the city of San Juan. And the contingencies are that we will encourage indiscriminate and excessive water use, which allows water to run to waste, individual washing of cars and buildings of exterior surfaces of structures, reduce the use of potable water to irrigate turf, lawn, garden, and ornamental landscaping to a minimum, prohibit use of portable water to wash sidewalks, driveways, roadways, and encourage sweeping or use of brooms, correct and repair all leaky breaks, malfunction hose bibs, faucets, nozzles, and water outlets, prohibit the use of potable water for construction purposes such as compacting backfill and trench restoration, restaurant restricts serving water unless upon request, restrict flushing of fire hydrants except when required for public safety and health, and encourage households to utilize water conservation measurements in all areas of the household and domestic functions.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
No.
Tony? Tony?
The whereases are kind of important
Yes.
as well.
I was wondering, should we put a copy of this in at the next water bill?
We put a notice that's very similar to this that went out about a week and a half ago, advising them of this
So
thing.
kind of summarizes it.
This will probably be inserted at your next billing cycle as an official declaration by the City Council.
Good.
Okay.
Good, yeah, because all the whereas is all important, that we're only have groundwater to depend on in this city. And it's a scary situation.
Can I?
I'd like to make a motion we approve resolution 2014-02, resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista declaring a conserved water shortage condition and implementing a water conservation contingency plan for the City of San Juan Bautista.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
I had 3 seconds. I thought you
No,
seconded.
it's getting tired. You can give it to Councilman.
Councilmember Lund.
Lund.
Vice Mayor Lund.
I was
Yeah.
encouraging somebody to do it.
I meant to say second.
May I do the roll call vote now?
Yes, go right ahead.
Councilmember Bott.
Aye.
Councilmember Cosio.
Aye.
Councilmember Edge.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lund.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the mayor passes unanimously.
Will this resolution get lifted after drought?
Okay. 6A we took care of. 6B. Water sewer rate CIP cost. This is cost of living increase, a discussion item. Roger.
Yeah, each year we handle the water rates according to the Consumer Price Index. We've prepared the necessary data to implement it, and normally we just do it automatically, but I always felt to be transparent that we bring it to the City Council and allow the City Council to get into a dialogue on that, and so that you know that it's coming down, because once it goes out into the water bill, then everybody starts to complain. This year's Consumer Price Index was about, what, 2.6 was it?
Yeah.
Yes, 2.6.
So it's about $2 more.
I'll bring it back. Rick, any questions?
No.
Robert?
We are voting on it, and we are voting to raise our own bill. So,
Just one comment. It spoils sport, but it's listed as a discussion item.
okay.
And all the other actions prior to this were listed as action items, and that's the way you split them up. So it doesn't appear,
No action is required, it's just automatic.
this
Yeah.
no action. If it's not, is it an automatic thing, Roger?
Yes,
It is automatic, and is this something the council acknowledges?
yes.
Okay, well,
Okay.
it's one of those fees that was adopted at some point in the past with a CPI increase escalator in it. And so I think we can take the position, you're just reporting this to them?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to take any action.
Okay. Any?
What about the wording in the staff report? The council has the ability, I recommend we adjust the rates by.
Council has the ability not to do it, they could direct me not to, but,
But that doesn't mean that they have to vote to do it?
no.
Okay, well, if the council wants to direct you not to do it, then what we should do is put it on the next agenda. But not hearing from the council and no action being taken, and there being an automatic increase built into the original approval, then they just acknowledge that they've been reported to, and there you go.
So the only reason it would be continued is if we direct him not to do it, and then it would have to be continued. Okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
Any? Good.
I don't see how we can not do it under the
Okay.
circumstances that we need.
Okay.
So much done
Okay.
to keep our supply of water flowing.
6C.
let me just comment. I think doing it this way also gives the opportunity if there are any people from the public who want to speak.
Yeah, and as you recall last year when we did, there was some people that objected, and we continued it, and until we did an analysis to show that it was warranted and stuff.
We held off doing it for
Yeah.
several months, yeah.
Right.
Okay, 6C, Roger, equipment lease to
Yeah,
purchase program
you know,
with Union Bank.
This was brought to my attention really as a result of the Kubota backhoe, where we really didn't know how much it was going to cost us to get the thing back up, and it's still, even to this day when it's back in service, it has several issues where it's deteriorating, and it's a smaller rig and everything. And what I'd like to just bring to your attention is that I've called over to Union Bank, and I talked to Letitia Clay, and she put me on with their bank to that they have available a lease option purchase program. And not that we're going to use it at this time, but it's going to be available. And when you have to buy pieces of equipment like a backhoe or something like that, you're talking about anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, and so that'll have a major impact on our fiscal budget. And I felt that maybe the best way to do it would be is if we do have to buy something like that, I'll bring it back to you, and then we'll entertain some type of a lease purchase out so we can pay it gradually over a period of years. And I think the council was aware of this. I think the last one we bought was one of the at the Public Works Department, was one of the sewer pumping hydrovacs that we purchased on a time share basis.
That was with San Benito Bank, right?
San Benito Bank, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we're not asking for any direction there. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On that, for the lease option on that, is that for only new equipment or new and used?
New and used.
New and used, okay.
Any other questions, Council?
And this is typical in bigger cities where when a city has to buy a fire engine, and it's $500,000, they'll enter a lease purchase option where they can spread that out, because that's big dollars for, San Jose, I think, bought a couple of them, and it was like $1.5 million.
What's their time limit that they'll extend it for?
It depends on what the city wants. So most of the time they're 3 to 4 years. But,
you have Public Works doing a lot more stuff that we used to have hired out.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to save. I mean, I see what goes on, that you're really expanding the envelope, and and having them work and doing things that never was done before. So I totally, I'm good with all this.
Or haven't been done for years. Public
Whatever.
Works used to do it.
Whatever.
All this stuff. Some of it they shouldn't have been doing.
Okay, well, if no other discussion, moving on to comments. City Council, Jolene.
Oh, it was a long, interesting meeting. It included everything from adding Green City into the general plan to Caltrans and their super highway effects on the city. But the main thing I just want to say again, and I know we've said it several times tonight, please conserve water. Conservation efforts should remain in effect until fall, winter of 2014. Rainfall begins to accumulate. We should not expect local aquifers to recover until next year, even if significant rainfall occurs in the next few months.
Yeah, I should have done this at the first part of the meeting, but as the outgoing mayor, they just changed the sign. I want to, number one, I want to express my appreciation to the whole city council and staff, Roger, Matt, George, Trish, and what's her name over here?
Linda.
I had to get in a dig at it. I really appreciate it. You made the job easy. I think We've done a really good job. This council has done a good job. We're the city's financially stable. We've got a balanced budget. We're going forward. Again, I don't know, the guy's getting I got to get a bigger hat for him every time I say it, but Roger's done a great job, and really appreciate what you've done.
Maybe I'll get one of those Detroit hats.
Yeah. By the way, you know the Sioux Special? Outgoing mayor did this.
Rick, you have anything?
No.
Robert?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I just want to say, hey, it's been great the last, for having Roger here, and I echo everything that Councilmember Bach said. It's enjoyable to come here and have a good crew, a good staff in the city, and it's everybody from Public Works and everybody in here. It's been really, it's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. Okay. No, well, I got city manager.
I don't want to forget him.
I just wanted to ask you if anybody's interested in becoming a member of to represent the city on the tourism committee that's looking at a tourism tax. Let me know. Janelle Cox emailed me thing, and we want to select a member. It's either going to be Matt or I, or if one member of the city council wants to.
Matt, I'm going to have you put in here between the city attorney and the city manager. Do you have anything to say? Maybe we can just,
Yeah, actually, I had just an additional thing I wanted to let you guys know. Cal Poly is going to be here this weekend. They're going to be doing their planned van outreach, so they'll be here on Friday, and they'll be posted up in front of the post office and trying to catch people going in and out, as well as they'll be attending the Mission K run and trying to get some input from those folks that are here and running the race. And I'll be trying to run it myself. So
That's right. I forgot there's a race this Saturday, is it?
Yep. Saturday at 10 in the morning.
Okay, George?
No, sir.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. Okay. Second? Okay. All in favor? Do we ever take a roll call? Okay. I don't know.